Warning, this podcast is not vegetarian or vegan friendly.
Snorkers, good-o.
Prick with a fork. 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 Prick with a fork.
I have to be honest with you, I have a confession to make, though I don't think you'll be that surprised by my confession. You know when you walk down a high street, and maybe you're lucky enough to have a street somewhere where you live where there is a proper butcher still in existence. There used to be a time when every high street had a butcher. That's not the case now. Some towns are still lucky to have a butcher. When I walk past a butcher, and you can normally see the sign a few yards away, and some of them still have those lovely old-fashioned red and white awnings out the front, and you definitely know that's a butcher. But when the window comes in sight, and I turn and I look in the window, and you might see some chops there, maybe some Barnsley chops, some chump chops. You'll certainly see a big pile of mince. You'll see various cuts of steak, probably sirloin, maybe ribeye, possibly rump. And you also see a couple of trays full of sausages. Maybe some specialist sausages that particular butcher makes. Some run-of-the-mill porkers. Some chipolatas. When I see that kind of stuff through the window, I actually get a little bit of a frisson. I get excited. It's the same when I go to Waitrose. Now listen, I live in a relatively posh part of West Sussex called Chichester. Not as posh as it used to be. That's a conversation for a different time. They have a fresh meat counter. And when I walk past it, normally with my basket, because I can't afford to do a weekly shop in Waitrose, way too expensive, but sometimes if I'm a little bit flush, might go there to get some treats. And they'll have the usual meaty products on display, alongside their lovely pork, Old Gloucester spot and sage bangers, which are immense, but they're not cheap. I actually get aroused when I see those sausages. Are you like me? I mean, can we have this honest conversation? You may be a carnivore, but are you a seniors carnivore? You may be a carnivore, but are you a serious carnivore, to the point that you actually get excited? Your heartbeat quickens. You get a stirring somewhere below when you see piles of meat, particularly sausages. If that is you, well, you're in good company, because this podcast, as I'm sure you've worked out by now, is all about sausages. It's the world's only regular podcast all about sausages, and we call it Prick with a Fork. It's been going for a number of years, and if you've just latched on to this particular podcast, you found us somewhere, maybe on YouTube, Spotify or Apple Podcasts, a gentle reminder there is an archive that goes back many years. So if you like what you hear here, if you like what you hear here, that kind of works. If you like it, go back and go through the archive and listen to countless other episodes over the years. Sausage making, taste testing, bit of ranting, that kind of stuff. So that's one thing to do. The other thing I need to do is tell you about this episode. My partner in crime, as always, is Rory McAllister. Now, this is what's going to happen. In a few moments, I'm going to give you the latest sausage news, a couple of events, awards that have been given that you need to know about, because you may want to check out these places, and you'd be a fool not to. We'll do the sausage news, then we're going to get one of Rory's BBQ podcasts, where he barbecues a particular sausage, because we kind of got it into our minds that sometimes how you cook the sausage may change how it tastes to you. So you might roast them in the oven, which is what we tend to do. We think that's the best way of cooking, and it might taste a certain way, but if you barbecue it, it might taste another way. So that's what we're going to do. Rozza's going to fire up his barbecue, and he's going to be barbecuing some sausages. Then when he and I hook up, he's going to try one of those sausages that he also roasted in the oven. So there's kind of like a taste comparison, if you like. Now what he's going to be doing, because we've been to Sainsbury's, by the way, this month, he's going to be checking out something from their Taste the Difference range. And they're the posh ones in a cardboard box, right? There's some other ones, but these are the ones in the cardboard box. We'll give you full details shortly. It's from that particular range, and they're Wildflower Honey and Wholegrain Mustard. So as part of his BBQ postcard, he's going to be barbecuing some of those and chomping down, actually alongside a very special guest, Mrs. Rozza. So that will happen shortly. Then he and I will hook up. He will give his considered opinion on an oven roasted version of that particular sausage, and I will be trying something that I've roasted in my oven, which are from the same range but obviously a different sausage. So it's the Taste the Difference Sainsbury's Fresh Garden Herb Pork Sausage, which I'm looking forward to trying because I just love herbs and spices in my sausage. I'm not that excited about sweet stuff like honey or chunks of fruit. Really doesn't float my boat, but I can't get enough of various herbs or spices. So Rozza and I will hook up, and he will try his oven roasted version of the honey and mustard sausage, and I'll do the fresh garden herb ones as well. Hopefully that makes sense. In the meantime, let's sort out some sausage news. Sausage news! This courtesy of the excellent Wales 24/7 website. Growing Llandwit major-based farmers Pantry butchers celebrated success at the recent inaugural British Butchery Awards. The company, which won the Best Large Butchery Business in Wales award, operates 3 standalone shops, another to open soon, and 4 franchise locations within garden centres across South Wales. The company also runs an online shop, more about that later, and wholesale and events catering businesses. Formed in 2012, Farmers Pantry Butchers is committed to providing high quality, sustainable and traceable meat, whilst being passionate advocates for ethical farming practices. The company takes pride in cultivating wholesome natural food that's in sync with the surrounding environment along the picturesque Vale of Glamorgan coast. As demand for exceptional, sustainable produce has increased, the company has developed successful partnerships with like-minded farmers and suppliers who share its values. Farmers Pantry owners Rory and Gaynor Davis moved to Rosedew Farm, Llandwit Major, in 1995, when their main focus was on cattle, vegetables and arable production. Check out their website and check out their sausages. The website address is farmerspantry.shop. farmerspantry.shop. They do smoked garlic and wild mushroom sausages and dragon pork sausages with a hint of chilli. Having looked at their website, it does look like they ship around the United Kingdom. Hurrah! And this from the Northumbrian Gazette. Turnbull's Northumbrian food in Alnwick has been named Best Butcher in the North East by the National Craft Butchers. The British Butchery Awards, which celebrate excellence, innovation and craftsmanship in the meat trade, were announced at a black tie dinner on the 30th of June at the Belfry Hotel in Nottingham. Hosted by celebrity chef Phil Vickery, MBE, the evening celebrated the craft of butchery and offered excellent networking opportunities with everybody who attended. Established in 1880, Turnbull's has long been a staple in the North East, known for its expert cuts, homemade sausages, pies and commitment to sustainable sourcing from trusted local farms. As one of the oldest family-run butchers in the region, Turnbull's continues to honour its heritage whilst embracing innovation, from its traditional shop in the heart of Alnwick to the opening of its award-winning Northumbrian food shop in 2020. They have a website as well, and you can buy plenty of meaty hampers. The website address is turnbullsfood.co.uk. turnbullsfood.co.uk. And that's the latest sausage news.
Prick with a fork.
Well, it's that time again to get the cover off the gas barbecue. There it is. Now, this time, I think we really are low on gas, but should have enough to get us through. There we go. That's that fired up. Quick clean of the old grill. We're good to go. Today's sausages then. The sausages for this podcast are the 6 Wildflower Honey and Wholegrain Mustard Pork Sausages. Traditional style, it boasts on the cardboard sleeve. Sainsbury's taste the difference. Succulent pork belly and shoulder blended with punchy wholegrain mustard and delicate wildflower honey in a traditional natural casing. Well, we'll see, shall we? Duncan and I are going to do a full oven cook review of these. But I'm always keen to see what they taste like on a barbecue, so there we go, they're on. I'll just give those 25-30 minutes or so and come back and see how we're doing. So it's been, I don't know, 15-20 minutes or so. Let's see how they're doing. A little bit of whistling there, lovely. Well, they're coming on nicely. Oh, that one's starting to split. Oh, hang on a minute. That's going to start kicking up some fat. Ooh, lovely. Get in. Right. Why, these are ready. And, oh, they smell divine. Let's get the gas off. Let's get these plated up. The sausages are plated up, and it's not just me here for this tasting session.
Hello, hello.
Mrs. M is here.
I finally get a bit of sausage.
You've been waiting to say that, haven't you? Right, which one do you want? There's 3 of them.
The least well done one.
You mean the one I originally picked because I thought that's what you were going to say. Right, now you're having mayonnaise with yours.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, I've got Coleman's mustard. Even though technically these have wholegrain mustard in them already. 6 Wildflower Honey and Wholegrain Mustard Sausages. What do you think these are going to be like?
Very hard to tell by just looking at them.
They sound a bit indifferent. British
I don't know yet.
pork, 80%. Wildflower honey, 7%. Wholegrain mustard, 5%. I mean, it's hardly...
Not much, bit of a dash.
No, yeah, it's like, oh, they've got wholegrain mustard in them. Oh, have they? Yeah, 5%. Oh, well, hang on, let me just knock the door down. I mean, just what? Mustard seed, white wine vinegar. There you go. You'll like these. Water, that's good. Spirit vinegar, sugar, salt, mustard powder, glucose syrup, turmeric, caramelised onion, sunflower oil, water, sea salt, tapioca starch, black pepper, white onion, sage, nutmeg, stabiliser, coriander seeds, preservatives, various other things, filled into natural pork casing. So, let's go. I'm going to have mine naked to begin with, without any condiments, as it were. In terms of barbecue consistency, they've come up... Oh, you're just going in.
Sorry,
No, he doesn't.
is there a procedure?
No.
I thought that was the point we're meant to eat them.
No, I was just doing a description. No,
you
but
gaze at it. I'm going to just eat mine.
there you go.
No.
You've just thrown it on the floor now.
Oh, no, the dog's going to get it quick. Get it before the dogs.
Now, we've got other dogs as well. Our niece's 2 dogs are here, so we've actually got 3... Have you got that? No, there's still some on the patio. We're outside in the garden, candle lit, and there we are. The beagle is in. Anyway,
You do yours.
the sausages have actually come up quite crispy. They seem to be certainly full. There you go. You can see the whole grain.
Mustard seeds.
Yeah, look at that inside it. Actually, that's fascinating. Actually, right. Let's see what it tastes like. I'm sort of pleasantly surprised, really. You can
Taste more of the honey than you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually quite hot. You wouldn't want any more honey than that.
No.
You were taking the mix, saying that 5% honey was too much or too little.
No, 5% mustard. There's 7% honey.
Yeah, a bit too much.
7, yeah, massive.
Bit sweet. Bit sweet. Possibly a bit sweet.
You think they're a bit sweet? Duncan won't like these.
Possibly just on the sweet side. Don't you think?
Duncan doesn't like sweet things in his sausages, so we'll have to see. I mean, who knows? In the oven, using the Duncan Barks method, which is in the oven, 180.
Well, interesting. I just had that little bit with mayonnaise, and it was better.
And it was better.
I think when you put a bit of mustard with that, you're going to think that it's better.
Bit of Coleman's. Actually, I know there's whole grain mustard in these already, but with
a
a
sauce with it.
Yeah, with a bit of this Coleman's English mustard. These are...
Mayo's working a treat too.
These are really nice, actually. These are really good.
Getting better with every bite. Have another bite. You'll like them more.
Yeah. The casings are really crispy. They're really solid, actually. The filling is really quite coarse, which I like. That whole blend of everything that's in there, it works. It's all coming together, actually. Nothing necessarily really stands out. Okay, a bit of the nutmeg, perhaps, just like now, on the back end. The aftertaste. And certainly the sage and a bit of the black pepper. Very good. So, scores on the doors, Mrs. M. Out of 10.
I'm thinking 7.
7.
Well, what are you thinking? You're going higher. You're going higher. Are you?
I'm going for 9.
9?
Yeah.
Bit on the sweet side.
For a supermarket sausage, that is excellent. Is excellent. It's a great effort. Love it. Very nice. Sumner, no, you're not getting any. You had some last... All right, then. OK, then, Sumner, for the second time, we'll have you tasting some sausage on the podcast. Here we go. Let me get one more bit.
Be against podcast regulations, surely.
What?
Wasted sausage on a beagle.
Well, Bertie gets some. So, do we agree to disagree?
We agree to disagree.
Well, that's a great marriage, isn't it?
Never.
Prick with a fork.
Rozza, good to have you on again on Prick with a Fork, the world's only sausage podcast. We heard you earlier with your, as I like to call them, BBQ postcard. But before we explore in more detail your honey and mustard sampling, and also a little bit of sampling on this particular session, how are you since we last spoke?
Pretty good, actually. Yes, enjoying the heat. Just back from Italy with a bit of a faff, including cancelled flight and load of old paraphernalia I won't go into. And then I'm away again next week. I'm in France in a place called Châteauroux, which is the Olympic shooting venue, and I'm there for just over 2 weeks. Then I'm back, and then I've got a bit more family time and a bit more sausage time.
A bit more sausage time. And for those people who don't know, because it might be the first time they're listening to Prick with a Fork, one of your major jobs is going around the world, as you've just outlined, and commentating on all kinds of things, but in this particular case, shooting. Not people, but targets.
Exactly. Yes. No, we need to make that clear. Definitely don't want any triggers. It's the European Championships for shotgun, rifle and pistol. So there'll be some very high caliber athletes in Châteauroux in France. And no, I won't be having a Toulouse sausage at any point when I'm out there. Definitely not.
It's a bit of a vexed issue, isn't it, the Toulouse sausage?
Let's
be honest. All right.
This isn't. The old cider.
Oh, you got booze. We should explain. We are recording this in the middle of July, and that's a lovely sound. The country is in parts enjoying record temperatures, and you and I are in similar-sized rooms. You're obviously in Worcestershire. I'm in West Sussex, but it is warm, and I have a room that doubles up as an office and a studio, and it's quite small and it's bloody hot. And you're not in a dissimilar place, so I'm sweating here like Hugh Edwards in a mobile telephone shop, and you're a little bit moist as well in terms of sweat. So it's warm, isn't it? And you've got lovely cool cider by the looks of it, and I don't have anything.
Oh, yes, this is a Henry Weston's organic, because I was going to have another Hawkston, but now that I've started working for the company, there's sort of perhaps a conflict of interest there.
I think that would be a little bit of a conflict, but a good conflict in many ways. Do you get any freebies?
Yes, you get credits built up every month. You also get staff discounts. There's various other nice things surrounding it. So this is the brewery that I'm working at, which is where we do the tour. So Clarkson, if you like, has got like a triangle. The top of the triangle is actually where Diddley Squat, where the farm is. The bottom left part of the triangle is where the brewery is in Bolton on the Water, and then the bottom right triangle is the Farmer's Dog. That's the pub. Which is just off the Burford Road.
Nice. Well, let's talk sausages. You've got some lubrication there. I haven't. I've come into my hot box room, my sweat box with no liquid. But once we've knocked this on the head and I've done a couple of chores, I have every intention of going to the tap room over the road and drinking vast amounts of cold ale. Now, we heard earlier from one of your excellent barbecue postcards. You were in the back garden with Mrs. M. Nice to hear Mrs. M featuring. I've got to say, she sounds like she does keep you in line, Rory, if you don't mind me saying so.
She does.
And it was good to hear her and you sample on the barbecue, because we've talked about this before in previous episodes. Sometimes Bangers can taste different depending on how you cook them. Normally we do our method in the oven, but you've taken to doing some barbecuing stuff just to see if it makes any difference and whether or not that particular sausage is better on a barbecue, maybe if you're going to have some mates around and that kind of stuff. Just for people, just so we remind people, because it's been a few minutes since I heard your barbecue postcard, these are the Taste the Difference honey and whole grain mustard sausages, aren't they? Have I got that right?
Indeed, Duncan, yes. Now, for those of you that are regular listeners to Prick with a Fork, you would have remembered that we did the Sicilian sausages, which I was very sceptical about. Duncan was very confident about them. And go back a few episodes if you'd like to hear the review. So this is part of the same range. It's Sainsbury's Taste the Difference, but I think if they could even go, this is our super posh Taste the Difference. This is like another level up, because you get the Taste the Difference sausages. These ones come in a proper cardboard sleeve. And there's only 4 in the range. The Sicilian ones that we've done, the pork ones, the Wildflower Honey and whole grain mustard, and the ones that Duncan and I are going to review on this podcast. So the review went very well. I'm even looking at some of the reviews on the Sainsbury's website. I can't see Falcon 58 yet, though, from the last episode. He hasn't. 50 bloody 8. But Banging Bangers says MG26, one of the yummiest sausages I've had for a long time, full of flavour, amazing texture. Happy to pay full price on these, even when they're on Nectar prices, but they are a bargain. Highly recommended.
Now, you did them on the barbecue, and people will have heard your barbecue review, and also Mrs. M as well. You liked them more than she did, I think. It's fair to say. And me and your missus are two peas in a pod, because we don't like too much sweet stuff, do we, by the sounds of it, in your sausage. And that was very clear from Lizzie's review. But you enjoyed them, didn't you?
I did, Duncan. Yes, I was pleasantly surprised, because the whole grain mustard bit, I thought, is that going to work? And to be honest with you, it was packed with practically every single ingredient we've ever mentioned on this programme.
I heard you read out the list,
But they were pork casings, so I had hope.
Yeah.
And indeed, I think it's the best blend of all of those ingredients, nutmeg and sage and black pepper and all the other things that we harp on about. They came out very well. I did genuinely really, really enjoyed them. And MG26 on the Sainsbury's website seems to agree.
Excellent. So what we're going to do on this particular chunk is you've got some sausages roasting at the moment, including the honey and mustard ones, because you want to try them oven cooked, which is fine. I tried to get these honey and mustard ones earlier from Sainsbury's in Chichester, because that's where I live, and it was a bloody nightmare from start to finish. Do you know what? I'm sick and tired of all of these supermarkets who now are flipping over to these self-service checkouts, because they don't work and they don't save time, and you stand there like a numpty and it's flashing red because something hasn't gone through, something hasn't worked, or in my case there might have been a bottle of wine there and I had to check that obviously I wasn't 12. And here's the thing I don't get. Well, this is what I don't understand. You're being filmed, because obviously they reckon everyone's a criminal on the rob, and probably, as we discovered on previous podcasts where we talked about the co-op, they put GPS trackers in the bloody sausages around here. So I'm not surprised that they're filming people in this big Sainsbury's in Chichester. But what I don't understand, and I know we're going off tangent a little bit here, is with all the technology, when you have some booze, right, you have to wait for someone to come along, a human being, and tap in some numbers or something to prove that say to the machine, that person's legal. Why can't they do that using AI? Why?
That is
It's a bloody good point. Facial recognition, they're filming you anyway. Surely the technology exists to look at your face and just go, that bloke's in his early 50s. It's quite clear that he can have a bottle of Bordeaux, right? Why can't they do that? Instead, you stand around looking for people to come along and see your red flashing light and say, it's okay, you can have that, because clearly you're legal. Does my nut in. But anyway, the point I wanted to make, apart from that little rant, was I couldn't get them in my Sainsbury's. In fact, it's really interesting. You said earlier, quite rightly, that their Taste of Different sausages, there are 2 different packs, aren't there? There's the ones that we're sampling here, which come in the cardboard sleeve, as I like to call it, which look rather premium. But there's also stuff just in a plastic container with Taste of Difference written on the front. And actually, I don't know if everyone's having a barbecue this evening in Chichester, but there's only 2 of the the ones we're going to sample here, available, 2 packets. There was no honey and mustard. And actually thinking about it, I think there's only 1 pack of Sicilian left as well. So these things are flying. They're flying well. So I haven't sampled the honey and the mustard ones. You did on the barbecue. You've got 1 in the oven at the moment, but we're also going to be doing these Taste of Difference fresh garden herb pork sausages.
Yes, indeed. Part of that very same range, as you said. I mean, I popped back to get the garden herb ones today, and I can report that I think there's fewer barbecues going on in Worcester tonight, clearly, because there were some packets there. But again, these are popular. 21 reviews on the Sainsbury's website of this one. The first review, even though entitled "Full of Flavour," is a 4 out of 5, whereas these mustard ones get 5 out of 5. I think you're going to have to come back to the mustard ones at some point, I think, Duncan, because there is that thing like Mrs. M where there is the sweetness, and she's definitely much more of a savoury girl. She actually mentioned the old Gloucester spot by Waitrose and I just took it out of the edit because I just thought, no, that's way too distracting. So I took it out. Well,
it was good of you to do so, but we like those. I mean, without...
I know.
We shouldn't go off on too much of a tangent, but they are the queen of sausages. Right, so let's get back on track. These Taste of Difference garden herb pork sausages from Sainsbury's. I paid £4.25 for mine, and I found myself thinking, I want these to be good. Actually, I want these to be good. And what I liked instantly about them was, and this is about, they're aesthetically pleasing, because when you look at the pack and you look at the sausages in the pack, you've got lovely specks of green in there. So already I'm getting excited by the fact these are garden herbs, and when you look at the packaging, they specifically mention sage and parsley, and you could think, oh yeah, some lovely chunks in there, lovely green specks and chunks of sage and parsley. You can almost smell the vegetable garden from here. So I like how they look, which is pleasing. And also, when you read the packaging as well, there's a pinch of lemon zest in a traditional natural casing. Now, we know we like our natural hog casings. Lemon zest, I'm a big fan of lemon zest. I don't know about you. I started grating lemon zest into my salads because it gives it a little bit of oomph. So it'll be interesting to see how these taste, these sausages, with some lemon zest, because you don't want it to be too overtly lemony, do you? But actually, lemon is a good flavour enhancer, so it might just lift the taste of the parsley and the sage. Have you got the ingredients there for these ones?
I have indeed, yes. As you said, Duncan, you've kind of given the summary of the front of the cardboard, which harps on about fresh sage, parsley, and a pinch of lemon zest. But the actual ingredients itself on the back read as follows. British pork, 88%. We've got water, fresh parsley, that's 2%. Sea salt, fresh sage, only 0.5% of fresh sage. There's your lemon zest, Duncan. There it is. The tapioca starch, thyme, black pepper, white onion, which I think always goes well with lemon, nutmeg, some stabilizers, coriander seeds, some preservatives, as we'd always expect. And we say on the podcast, it's a supermarket sausage, so it has to have preservatives. But however, it does have that absorbic acid, and then it states very clearly filled into natural pork casings, and that's what gets us excited.
Yeah, we won't bang on too much about stuff that isn't natural pork casings, because we sometimes get into trouble when we do that, as we found out. But that's a conversation for a different time. Right, so yours are in the oven at the moment. Is now a timely pause for you to just pop downstairs and check your oven? Whilst I waffle on about something else. I'll just waffle on about some of the other bits on the packaging here. So it's got a lovely Union flag symbol on, because they want to make the point that these particular sausages are made using only outdoor bred British pork from RSPCA assured farms, so that's good. You've got to give them the benefit of the doubt, Sainsbury's, that they're actually using British pork and not pork that has been reared in a different country but maybe has been butchered in this country, because there is a way of actually still saying it's British if something significant was done to the product before it goes on sale in this country. But we have to take Sainsbury's at face value, so we will. Rozza went through the ingredients there. There's going to be preservatives in there. There's going to be chemicals in there, quite simply because it's a supermarket sausage. And if you don't want those chemicals or preservatives, you can do what I do, which is make my own sausages. Plenty of episodes of Prick with a Fork in the past. You've got me wanging on about making your own bangers, the equipment you need to buy, where you can buy it from, how you need to do it. So that's one way of not having preservatives and chemicals, though of course every sausage made will contain salt, and salt is a form of natural preservative. So you've got your preservatives and chemicals in there. Make your own sausages, or buy from a farmer's shop, or buy from a farmer's market. There still might be some preservatives in there, but there'll certainly be less so than a supermarket sausage. And it's worth me just mentioning, whilst Rozza's checking his oven to find out if these have cooked at his place yet, that we do all kinds of sausage sampling on this podcast. And again, we've got episodes going back years, so check them out. There's an archive there, and we do stuff that's sometimes only available mail order from a certain butcher in the United Kingdom. But we took a decision a few months ago, purely based on feedback from you, that you prefer us to do supermarket sausages, because if it's from one of the major supermarkets, so we're talking Tesco, we're talking Sainsbury's, Asda, maybe Morrison's, Waitrose, M&S. I mean, most people have access to at least one of those, if not two of those, if they live in a big town or whatever. You can get hold of the sausages that we sample, so you can try them out for yourself. So that's why we're focusing at the moment on a run of supermarket sausages. And these Taste the Difference ones from Sainsbury's, £4.25 for six fresh garden herb pork sausages in traditional style is what they say on the packaging. So just to recap, Rozza hopefully will have one of the honey and mustard ones that he barbecued earlier, but this time round it's been cooked in the oven, so he can tell the difference between barbecue cooking and oven cooking. And of course the ones that we've both got here, which are the garden herb pork sausages. I see a plate in your hand. Is that plate laden with porkers?
Almost, yes.
Almost.
I've got the mustard one here,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have to fetch back for the other two because they weren't quite ready.
All right,
but
well, that's good. That's good. So, and you've got a dollop of Coleman's there on the side by the looks of it.
Still can't find your Tankermans or whatever it's called.
Oh, Trackleman's.
Trackleman's. That's
Well,
it.
they do it from their website. If you're up for it, you can mail order some. They do a little 6-pack of different sauces and mustards, including that one. So, you know, if you've got a birthday coming up, Rozza, let me know. All right, so the honey and whole grain mustard one, you've done that particular one in the oven. You're going to compare it to what it was like when you did it on the BBQ postcard earlier. Cut in. Let us know what it's like. How's it cooked, by the way, in the oven? Is it all right?
Yes. Now do you know what? Yes, it's come out very well. These have been done what's known as the DBM, which is the Duncan Barks method.
Yes.
So in the oven on a sheet of baking paper, and they've come out very, very well indeed. They've come out with real crispy casings.
Yeah.
They're not really that peeling away on the inside too much from the outside. A little bit of a gap, but they are quite a coarse sausage. So in terms of how they taste now out of the oven compared to the barbecue, let's go. Bit of a dabber.
I was quite interested that Mrs. M likes mayonnaise with her sausage. I thought that was interesting.
Well, she'll have mayonnaise with mayonnaise,
Really?
honestly. I mean, and it has to be the one that begins with H. That one.
Oh, right. Hellman's?
Yeah, that one, not Heinz.
No.
Yeah, no. She absolutely insists, and apparently none of the others are the same. Even the posh ones. So even if you trackle people, do one. She probably won't like it. These are different, Duncan.
Yeah.
Very different.
Go on.
Yeah, I know. I was almost. It got a 9, didn't it, on the barbecue?
Yeah.
These.
Yeah. You're not giving it a 10, are you? Oh.
I don't quite know what meal they would work with. I think maybe. Do you know what? Do you know what these? I've got it. A butcher's board. That's where these come in.
Yeah.
A butcher's board. I don't think they're gonna do your sausage and mash because they've got too much going on. They're too flavoursome, and sausage and mash is what's being made tonight, but with the pork versions. These are very nice. I would say there are 7, possibly an 8 in terms of an oven sausage.
Yeah.
But a butcher's board next to some pickles.
Yes.
Next to some pickled onions.
Yes.
A bit of pork pie.
Yeah.
Some lettuce leaves, some Branston pickle as well, perhaps. A few other bits, some celery sticks, carrots. These Stick these on your butcher's board, Duncan.
Yeah, and I like the way you've described that, because clearly it's an event in its own right. You don't need to be doing other stuff with it. It deserves to be sitting alongside a bit of pork pie and whatever, as opposed to just being on a bed of fluffy mash. All right, good. Any other discernible difference between barbecuing them and roasting them in your oven? Yeah.
I would say the casings are nowhere near as crispy.
Right. Okay.
They're almost, when they're slightly on the chewy side, almost like when you have, if you've ever eaten dullis in Ireland, which is sort of essentially seaweed. We don't exactly. I know we don't talk about that. So yes, there is a significant difference. These came out much better on the barbecue, I have to say. They really did. A cracking sausage, though. Good effort. I'd highly recommend them. Give them a go if you can. And if like that, you're buying booze at the same time and you have to have someone press that button that says you're visibly over 21. Just tell them, at least, because you get to interact with them, tell them about Prick with a Fork, the world's only sausage podcast.
Yeah, do it. Final question about these honey and mustard ones before I sample the garden herb ones and you check your oven again. I like what you said about having it as part of a butcher's board. Would it work in a bap? In a roll, that sausage with a bit of ketchup on its own, would that work?
Yes, Duncan, actually. Yeah. You've just got me thinking now. Yeah. The rugby's on tomorrow morning. I've got more of these things. We could add that to the bacon baps tomorrow morning.
Oh, my word. For the rugby. You see, I was thinking one of the honey and mustard ones in a roll with a bit of ketchup and a cold beer. I mean, well, you wouldn't have a problem with that for breakfast, would you? Cold cider. Right, okay, let's crack on. Let me try these. I've got 2 of these porkers here, and just so you're sticking with us, these are the garden herb ones: parsley, sage, and a pinch of lemon zest. And I'm looking forward to these because they look good when I put them in the oven. I love the specks of green, the chunks of green. These were roasted in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, or 180, which tends to be my favoured setting. And I cut into it. It's relatively coarse. It's got a very, as you would hope, a nice porky smell. And those flecks of green have dulled ever so slightly, but you can see that there are herbs in here. Now, the skins, Hastings, excuse me, are really quite crunchy, which I like. And I've got that lemony zest. That is the first flavour that hits you, is the lemony zest, but it doesn't feel like too much lemon. And then you get the parsley. That was really interesting. I'm not getting much sage here, but that's all right. Well,
it is 0.5%, or half of 1%. In there, is there? Hang on. No.
Let's just have a...
Parsley's 2%.
That citrusy lemon is coming through. But it's not overpowering, and that's good.
I'm going to check my oven. I just can't bear this. I can't bear you eating these things.
I'll carry on chomping.
I shall return.
Blimey. I never realised this, because apart from the ingredients, I don't always read the packaging. But they have the calories per sausage. I never knew that was a thing. What's it say here? Calories per sausage, 197. So what's that? That's like a bar of chocolate, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. I like these. I'm surprised that the first flavour that comes through is the lemon, but that's all right, because then along comes the parsley and then the sage. What? Yeah. So Rozza rightly said 0.5% sage, 2% parsley, and that's why you can obviously taste the parsley more so than the sage. Now, I like these because I think they would be perfect with some mash, and I also think they would be perfect as a breakfast sausage because they're nice and herby. Maybe not to everyone's taste for breakfast with that little bit of zesty lemon, but certainly with the parsley coming through and a teeny weeny bit of sage, a good breakfast sausage and a good sausage to have your bangers and mash. What's going on there? What you got?
Just pouring the rest of this organic cider out into some ice, and now I have the 2 garden herb sausages. I have 2 of them to devour.
Well, I've got 2
I'm gonna
here,
have,
so yeah. Go on.
I'm gonna have one naked, as it were, and then one with mustard because I don't want to detract from the taste that much. So,
I'm curious to find out whether or not you get the lemon hit that I got quite quickly.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. That was the first thing that hit, and then you got some parsley on the sort of the back end, the sort of aftertaste. Here we go. So, see what the casings are like. I mean, again, they don't look as coarse actually, and they haven't come away from the insides of the skins as much actually. Interesting.
Ah, well, that's an ambiguous word because it could be interesting good or interesting bad.
I heard you say breakfast sausage.
Yeah.
I think these would be a bangers and mash as well, wouldn't they?
I did say that as well. Yeah.
This is see, normally I'm not Mrs. M's here waiting on me hand and foot, but not today.
But we agree because of the herbiness of them. Perfect as a breakfast sausage, I would say, but also good old-fashioned bangers and mash. October, November night. It's wet. It's cold outside. 3 of these on some mashed potato, onion gravy. You could die a happy man. Do you like them? They're good, aren't they?
Yeah. That lemon is there.
Yeah.
It kind of almost goes round the roof of your mouth like a sort of a little radius circumference type effect.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. And as you say, that we know the other herbs are in there because we've got the ingredients, but they don't come punching through.
You wouldn't know about the sage, I don't think, unless you'd read it on the back. Parsley I can taste, but not the sage. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, it's becoming very clear. I was out with a friend of mine a couple of nights ago, and his wife's parents have a farm, and they make some sausages in Suffolk. So we spent a bit of time talking about sausages, and the conversation led me to conclude I'm actually quite conservative with my sausages. So I don't like the sweet stuff in there. Do you know what I mean? That's well documented. I don't mind them. I mean, pork and apples all right, but some of the kind of like sweetness gunk that comes out does upset me. But I'm more of a savoury person when it comes to the sausage, and I do like that more kind of conservative pork and sage, or the Cumberland with the nutmeg and the mace or whatever. When I looked at the packaging for these ones here, the ones we just sampled, and I saw the zest of lemon, I did raise a quizzical eyebrow for a second. I thought, ooh, lemon. That almost gets us into that Sicilian territory, which is all right because we like their Sicilian sausages. But I don't know. I wasn't sure what I felt about lemon in a sausage, but they've used the zest of lemon really well in this, I think.
And
yeah,
this is why I think you will like those honey and whole grain mustard ones. I really do think they I think they stand a chance of getting through the Barks customs. Yeah.
Well, I will try and find them. All right, so I'm going to give these probably 8, I think. I think 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm going to give them 8 out of 10. How would you rate them?
Now, for the first time in a long time, I agree.
Hey!
8. Hey!
What? Why does it work for you?
I like the herbiness.
Yeah.
I love the casings are crunchy.
Yeah,
they're
good,
crunchier
aren't they?
than
Yeah.
they are. They've come out well. The sausage feels packed.
Yes.
And that lemon zest, you're right, they've used it to just the right amount. And as a sausage, it's got enough going on, it satisfies, it's a bit versatile, as we've explained.
Yeah.
And I just think that this Taste the Difference range, or this sort of almost the next level up,
Taste the
premium.
Difference Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, Taste the Difference plus. Yeah. And at £4.25 for 6, I even think it's worth £4.25 of your hard-earned cash. Even better if it's on a nectar price, which is normally then dropped to about £3.50.
Yeah. All right, we've agreed. 8 out of 10. Now listen, before we wrap it up for this episode, you did your barbecue postcard earlier. I have a gas barbecue that's out there. I love my gas barbecue, though it is a ball ache increasingly to clean it, which might sound a little bit first world problems and all of that. But, you know, if you've had a few glasses of wine and a beer or whatever, and you've had your steak and you've had your bangers and stuff, and it's 9:30 at night, and you know full well you should probably clean it up. Otherwise, the next day you're going to have a lot of congealed fat everywhere and it's more of a job. And sometimes I find myself thinking, I just don't ever want to fire at the barbie because I can't be bothered to clean it. You have, well, it seems to me from what you were saying on WhatsApp earlier, you found the perfect answer.
It's a hot tap. You need an outdoor hot tap. And you can use it with just a regular garden hose, as long as you've got a jet function on your hose sprayer. Yeah. Or better still, just plug it into one of these patio cleaners. Now, I wouldn't then necessarily jump on and clean it immediately after using it. But what you are able to do is leave it to cool down. The next time you use it, if you're using it regularly, at least within a couple of days, you can get one of those wire wool scrubbers, with the handle. Scrub down the grill with a bit of heat. But what it does mean is that you can also, if it's a gas barbecue, you can take some of it apart. So you can take your burner covers off. Yes. You can often take them, and I would try and unscrew the burners if you can as well, and just wash them by hand, because they, depending on the material used, they can go rusty and rot away. Yeah. So, but a hot tap outside, we got one installed next to our outdoor cold tap. I think the plumber charged us 45 quid, something like that. He did it within about 20 minutes. And just in terms of even cleaning your garden, cleaning patios, fences, a hot tap outside is what you need. Because as you said, Duncan, with a lot of fat on a barbecue, if that's the way you cook things, cold water and congealed fat doesn't go. No,
it doesn't go. You're right. Well, that's a top tip. Thank you for that. We don't have any form of tap in the back garden, so I think it might be a slightly bigger project, but not one that's unachievable. Rozza, as always, a pleasure. Thank you for scurrying around Worcester to find these particular bangers, and thank you for the barbecue postcard. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you again, well, in about 4 weeks' time, I should imagine.
Yes, au revoir, à bientôt.
Break with a folk.
As always, it's not just our opinion on sausages, it's about what you like and what you don't like as well. So if you have a Sainsbury's near you that's accessible, we would love to hear your thoughts, your reviews on any of the Sainsbury's Taste of Difference sausage range. We're talking about the posh ones that come in the cardboard box, as opposed to the ones in the packets. But that said, anything you want to share with us sausage related, we would be most grateful. Details coming up in a few moments of how to do that. Thank you as always, Rory, Rozza McAllister, for being part of this particular episode. You can find him on Instagram. It's Rory_McAllister 1978. I'll spell it for you. RORY_ McAllister McAllister 1978. Rory_McAllister 1978. That's where he lives on Instagram. You can find me on Insta, quite simply at The Duncan Barks. Nice and simple. And if you want to get involved and say hello, send a message, maybe a sausage review, tell us about something you've eaten sausage related somewhere in the United Kingdom, if you've got some barbecuing tips, whatever. A couple of ways in which you can do that. The best way probably is on the email, which is prickfork@gmail.com. prickfork@gmail.com, or you can post something to our Facebook page, which is nice and simple. Find us on Facebook at Prickfork. Prickfork is where we are on Facebook. As always, thank you for listening. Do us a favour, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, like us, follow us, share us, help spread the word, and until next time, happy sausage eating.
Oh, we've got bangers and snorkers. I'm so in love with those porkers. Sizzle or fry, that's what I like. As long as it's real, you'll never butcher my pride. I love my blood sausage, whether black or white. I'm like a hot dog in mustard. Since a new way of stuffing I've discovered. Oh, bratwurst is fine, bratwurst delights. Cumberland rocks with an onion side. Salami, boudin, Savoy, I'm a pig hog high. Oh yeah, la la la. As long as it's in a skin, it's fine.